Hello, this is David D. Hilster. I am a critical thinker, dissident scientist, and if you are not science woke, then this is the place for you. There are literally thousands and thousands of scientists from around the world who have been working for decades outside the mainstream, who've identified problems, fixed those problems, and who are proposing new theories and models. You won't find anything like this on YouTube, so you want to make sure you go down below, right down there, and click that subscribe button, the little bell next to it, and you'll be alerted to when our next video drops. Well, I subscribe to one of the great scientists, I think, of our generation, Dr. Glenn Borchardt. He's a geologist by trade, but he wrote a seminal book, in my opinion, The Scientific Worldview, and he has put into our models, many of our models, the concept of infinity. He also has the 10 assumptions of science, neo-mechanics, very great scientist, in my opinion. And he also has a blog called The Scientific Worldview, and of course I have the link down below for that. And he gets questions and he answers them and he sends them out. So this was just a couple of days ago when I'm recording this, in relative to when I'm recording this video right now. So it says, from reader Abhi, let's go to what he's asked. He says, from his reader, I had once claimed that the following: the universe contains many collections of galaxies instead of only one. Ether exists only inside one collection of galaxies and not outside it. So ether does not exist outside the collection of galaxies in which we live. So there is no light over there. So nobody has ever been able to see anything over there. So all scientists have assumed that the universe contains only one collection of galaxies, i.e. the one in which we live. Since the collection of galaxies is filled with ether, scientists like you assume that the whole universe is filled with ether. I'm making this claim because any form of matter is always finite and no form of matter can be infinite. Only the universe is infinite. Can you please look deeply into this matter? So what he's saying that we live in a cluster of galaxies, and in this cluster of galaxies we have ether. Ether, of course, is not invented, but is proposed to be the carrier of light waves, that is the medium for light waves. And this person, I don't know, man or woman, is saying that ether only exists within this cluster of galaxies and not outside, so therefore that's why we are not seeing beyond that. It's an interesting hypothesis. I think it's really important for you to understand this is the way people are talking outside the mainstream. This is not, you're not going to go and hear this anywhere in a university, anywhere. And if you do, let me know about it. I will toot my horn. I will go and try to find and sing my praise of that university. But right now, no one's talking about it. So this is a very interesting insight for those people who are becoming science woke or new to being critical thinkers, and to my channel, that people are talking about very interesting concepts outside the mainstream. So he's saying that there's only ether within our galaxy clusters, and there are other ones, but we can't see them because without ether, you don't have light. Without light, we don't see anything. So. All right, so GB, which is Glenn Borchardt, thanks for the comment. You are hypothesizing a reason for an inability to see beyond 3.8, I would assume, billion light years, even though you assume macronomic infinity, macrocosmic infinity. So he's saying that macrocosmic means it's bigger than our cosmos. It means, yeah, space goes on forever. If you go out in space somewhere, you're not going to ever find an end, or it's not going to loop back but there are some people who believe that, and that's a valid, I guess, hypothesis. Your hypothesis will be severely tested when the Weber telescope replaces the Hubble after March 2021. What does that mean? Well, it says, this is and this is from his book, Glenn Borchardt's book, a must read in my opinion too, Infinite Universe Theory. Great book. It is an ether book, an ether theory, but still, it's still absolutely worth reading. Improvements in instrumentation soon will result in the discovery of cosmological objects older than 13.8 billion years. Of course, that probably would be taken as a falsification. That probably would not be taken as a falsification for the Big Bang. There's always recalculation and ad hocs. The cosmogonists will come up with. It would not help your theory or any of the other multiverse theories, because according to the infinite universe theory, there will be no etherless gaps beyond what we can see now. So what he's saying is, yes, ether will in fact fill the universe. He's an aetherist. We say another particle fills the universe, but that's okay. One particle, another. What most important there is, and Glenn Borchardt will say this, is that it is not empty, and that's really important. He's saying, you give me too much credit. Many famous scientists in the past have assumed ether is universal, since others have, like you, assumed that some regions of the universe may contain nothing at all. Of course, that is only an idealization. Reread the Infinite Universe Theory glossary on matter-space continuum. Again, you can get that book on Amazon. The empty space assumption is also the petard that threatens to destroy Einstein's untired light theory. Now, let me tell you what that all means. Empty space assumption is saying that there is nothing there, and the empty space assumption also is a petard that threatens to destroy Einstein's untired light theory. Untired light means it goes on forever and never slows down. Never. It's very important for you to understand in the infinite world, infinity world that Glenn Borchardt has proposed, and I agree with it 100%. You can't do anything infinitely for the same speed. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not talking about slows down, speeds up. I'm just saying that, you know, this idea that anything in the universe can just go forever at the speed of c and never change. Of course, that's going to that's not a good idea, and he's talking about the threat and destroy. That's why he calls it untired light theory, because the tired light theory, in contrast, says that light, as it goes along, gets tired. It redshifts, and if light automatically redshifts as it goes away, no matter where you are in the universe, you're going to see redshift. And if you are, unfortunately, like us, everybody's going to think the Big Bang is, and they're all going to think they're in the center of the Big Bang. So this is one argument against the Big Bang. Again, this is all stuff that we talk about outside the mainstream and been talking about for decades. You say any form of matter is always finite and no form of matter can be infinite. You may reject microcosmic infinity all you want, but that is a theoretical dead end. Matter is infinitely subdividable. I agree with that. With each division producing what appears to us as an ideal solid matter and an ideal empty space. Matter is an abstraction implying that all these things must contain other things. As I've mentioned many times, macroscopic infinity and microscopic infinity are not consubstantial. Whoa, my Dave, don't do this to me. I just turned it off. Don't go away. Let me explain all this here. What he's saying is that you may, if you think of matter, matter is infinitely subdivisible, meaning there are no partless parts. You'll never find the ultimate particle. Every particle, when you go down, is made up of another particle, is made up of another particle, is made up of another particle. And he's saying the macrocosmic infinity, that is your idea that space is infinite, and your idea that the microcosm has finity, meaning there's only so much matter, are not consubstantial. Don't go together. Consubstantiality is things that logically go together. If you have this set of rules and this set of rules, and they have their rules, and you put them together, and if there's a conflict, they're not consubstantial. And it sounds really cool to say that, consubstantiality. It was one of the ones that it took me forever to learn from Glenn Borchardt, so don't worry if you don't remember that. But absolutely interesting and fascinating discussion going on here. And so he's also going to say, Abhi, now I can prove my claim to be correct using the mainstream physics called a black hole. See the first sentence on, and that's the black hole. It says that nothing, not even particles, electromagnetic radiation as light, can escape inside it. Actually, the claim is wrong. There's no light over there because there's no ether over there. So particles which go there cannot be seen anymore because there's no light over there. So there are actually no such things as black holes in the universe. Since particles which go over there cannot be seen anymore, mainstream physics has assumed that the region is a black hole, from where particles cannot escape. The region is only a place in the universe where ether does not exist. Can you please look deeply into that matter? Yes, he can. He says, okay, Glenn Borchardt, as far as I can tell, black holes certainly are not holes. That's very agreeable. And no one has ever seen one. They appear to be a product of mathematical imagination. Before he died, Hawking's recanted, admitting that, at most, they were gray holes. My interpretation is this. Any physical evidence is really evidence for a galactic nucleus, as we see in the NASA photo of Andromeda. And what he's saying, yeah, it's a galactic nucleus. There's a black hole. What people are saying are black holes are there. What they really are and how they really work, we're not really sure. So, it looks like, and this is his conclusion to this article, it looks like the nucleus is where stars go to die, typically of many vortices. The center, therefore, contains the great mass assumed for black holes, but without the blackness initially calculated by cosmogonists such as Hawking. With the new claim that they actually are gray holes, your lack of ether hypothesis is unnecessary. So Glenn Borchardt, who is an infinity guy, he's an aetherist, is arguing with this person who says ether isn't everywhere in the universe, which is actually an interesting concept. This is great. This is real dialogue in physics. This is real dialogue in cosmology, not the stuff about multiverses and the craziness you see. You see the articles I toast all the time, I guess you can say it. Toast them like, you know, toasting the Toastmasters go out there. No, that's different. I'm sorry. Anyways, you can see that this one person is got their idea of how ether works. That is, it's not in places. Glenn Borchardt says space is not empty. Ether is going to be everywhere, according to him. And they're having this debate and talking back and forth. And they're talking about black holes. They're talking about galaxies, galaxy clusters, and ether. So I thought that would be a really interesting thing for you to see and for me to talk about. You know, I'm not going to get into all the details. I just wanted to show you this back and forth between two minds who are outside the mainstream, who are like, we're further along, folks. Let's keep science moving along and leave mainstream big science behind. So remember what I always say. Don't take my word for it. Stay critical, stay thinking. I'm David D. Hilster. I'm your science therapist trying to get you science woke. And by the way, subscribe to the Scientific Worldview right here, the Scientific Worldview blog. I have the link for this below, and of course you can subscribe to that. Glenn Borchardt's stuff is really interesting, and you can do it. If you have any questions, say, hey, Dave, explain this one to me, and I'll make a video for you and help you out. That's what I'm here for. Ciao for now.